If you're thinking of buying a home here in Fargo, North Dakota, you need to watch this video. In this video, I'm breaking down the 5 most common mistakes I see first-time homebuyers, or any homebuyer for that matter, make. Now these mistakes, if you don't take care of them, or you don't avoid them, or you overlook them, they could end up costing you tens of thousands of dollars down the line. And more importantly, they could cause headaches, they could cause lawsuits, they can cause huge arguments that are such a headache to deal with. So this video, it's gonna be 5 homebuyer mistakes. These are specific to Fargo, North Dakota. So if you're not from Fargo or you're interested in moving here, obviously watch it. But if you're someone in a different market who has no idea where Fargo is and you have no interest in moving here, these may not be relevant to you just because they are specific to Fargo and other markets may be different. So I'm gonna hop right into it. I'm Sykora. I'm a real estate agent here in Fargo. Obviously, real estate agent making a video about mistakes I see homebuyers make, things that can cost you money. If you're interested in buying a home, even if you just want some more information or you wanna go take a look at a couple, you can reach out to me. I'm not gonna push you to it. I just want this video to be informational for people, but if you are interested in doing that, you can find all my contact information down in the description below. But we're gonna hop right into this video to the #1 mistake I see first-time homebuyers or any homebuyer in Fargo make, and that's not having a proper budget for fixes or for upgrades on the home and going house broke. So what house broke is where maybe, let's say you're pre-approved up to $400,000, but $400,000 is where you're really pushing your debt to income ratio. It's gonna be tight. You might be living paycheck to paycheck with that mortgage payment. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you need to buy it. You can buy a house for $300,000 and be comfortable. You do not want to go house broke to where you're uncomfortable. You don't have a savings account set up. You don't have money set aside if some issue happens with the house. Because that's the thing when you're renting versus when you buy. When you buy, the house is yours. So if your fridge leaks and it causes water damage in the middle of the night, it's your responsibility. So you have to have cash or money or a savings account set aside for that. So that's why it's very, very important to budget for issues or to budget for other things. Along for this too, it depends on the house you're buying. Does the house have a washer or dryer? Do you need to budget for that? Do you have cash available for a washer or dryer? If it's a new construction house, are they including seed and sod? Are they including a deck? These type of things where it makes a new construction house look super, super affordable when it's $350, when other ones are selling for $380, but it doesn't have a deck. It doesn't have a finished garage. It doesn't have a patio on the back. It doesn't have grass. It doesn't have seed and sod. So things like this, you just need to keep in mind all these things and budget for them when you're buying a house here in Fargo. Obviously, a huge one is special assessments. If you don't know what special assessments are, you're gonna hear a lot about them when you're buying a house, but they are a separate tax from a normal property tax that is for improvements in the area. So let's say there's new sewer lines being put in, you're gonna get hit with specials if you live in that area. Nice thing about them is that there are only 4 houses in that area. Bad thing about them is they're gonna be pretty high. So I have a whole video breaking down specials. If you wanted to watch that on my channel, you can check it out. But special assessments are really important because they influence your monthly payment a lot. So you might find a house that's $300,000 with $0 in specials versus a house that's $300,000 with $80,000 in specials. The monthly payment on those is gonna be significantly different. So that's why it's always important to reverse engineer it, to look at what do you want your monthly payment to be with your house, to then look at how much you can afford, what area to look at, and that sort of thing. And that goes back to what I said in the beginning of being house broke. You do not want your monthly payment to be more than you're comfortable with, and you do not want to spend more money to where you're living paycheck to paycheck. So these are important things, especially when looking at houses. A mistake I see people make is they say, hey, I can afford up to $400. Let's go look at houses that are $400. Yes, we're gonna do that. Yes, we can, but as long as you're comfortable as a home buyer. Next up, and this is a major mistake I see people make, it could end up costing them over $30,000. And that's not getting a home inspection. A home inspection is a very important part of your offer. Obviously, all situations are different. Some houses, maybe you only want a quick inspection or something like that, but 90% of the time you wanna have a home inspection done and a full home inspection done. Now, a home inspection, it costs money. It's around $400 for a home inspection, but if costing $400 to your bank account right away when you're buying a house can end up saving you $20,000 down the line, do you think it's worth it? Because a home inspector is gonna go through the house and check everything. Checking all the appliances, checking the HVAC, checking the foundation, checking the drainage, checking the roof. Everything in the house is gonna be checked by a home inspector for almost 3 hours. And you're gonna get a report back. And the thing is, when you have a home inspection, if you structure the offer correctly, you can renegotiate after the home inspection. So let's say you find an issue. Hey, the furnace is really old. I think they should have it serviced and they should have it checked. Okay. Hey sellers, do this with the furnace or else we're not buying the house. There you go. Obviously, every situation is different. Some sellers aren't gonna agree to fixes. You don't wanna do a laundry list of items of tiny little things, but you wanna look at the big issues that are gonna cost you money down the line. Because here's the thing with a home inspection. If you are going to buy a house and there's a major issue with the house that you find with your inspection, the sellers didn't know about it. Well, now they know about it. Now they have to disclose it. So even if you do not buy that house, someone else is going to buy that house and have that same issue. So why would a seller want to wait another 45 days for their house to sell if they could have just fixed that issue and had it sold? It's all about finding the balance between, hey, these people want to sell their house, they're not living there anymore, they don't want to do a ton of fixes, but also what are the issues with the house? How can I negotiate the best way? That's a big part of what I do as a real estate agent, is helping you find that balance. But it's just something to keep in mind with home inspections. They're essentially important. Only $400, but they could save you tens, 20s, $30,000 down the line. Another big thing is a radon test. So what radon is a gas that comes up out of the soil in our dirt around here that is kind of similar to smoking. If you breathe it in for long periods of time, you can have lung cancer. If it's over levels of 4, then you're instructed or recommended put in a radon mitigation system. So what this is basically just takes the air from under the house, spits it up above the house so you're not breathing in that radon. Now the thing with radon is, as of a couple weeks ago, there's a new radon disclosure form. So same thing I was talking about before. If you test for radon's high, sellers say, hey, I'm not inspecting and I'm not putting in a radon system. Now they have to disclose they have high radon to any buyer that's looking for the house. So it's always important to get a radon test, especially when it's going to be disclosed. And when we get to number 3, third mistake I see, I'm going to mention this again, why it's important to have a radon test. So radon test may be another $150. You can get one from Walmart if you want to test your own house while you're at it, that sort of thing. But radon tests and inspections are super duper important when you're buying a home here in Fargo, North Dakota. Now, third mistake I see people make when they're buying a home is they do not think about resale value. No matter how long you think you're going to live in your house, you always have to consider resale value. Is it a house that's been sitting on the market for 2 years and no one wants to buy it? Do you think people are going to buy it once it's 5 years later? That sort of thing. You always have to think about resale value, think about the neighborhood you're in, think about where you're living, thinking about what does the outside look like, is this curb appeal, that sort of thing. Obviously, if you're going to change some of that, it's different. But really unique houses, obviously sometimes the resale value is not as good, or different neighborhoods. So it's always something to consider. And the thing is with the radon, okay, let's say you don't test for radon when you buy a house, then you turn around to sell it 3 years later. I bet you those buyers are going to test for radon. So it's always a thing of, you got to think of your resale value. You got to think of yourself 5 years in the future of, if you're selling it, what is going to be in the mind of those buyers? That sort of thing. Obviously, that's also included of like fixes in the house. Does it need new carpet, new paint? Obviously, this is all stuff that's kind of hard to think about when you're buying a house for the first time. But it's always something to consider. You always want to think about your resale value down the line, because probably this isn't going to be the house you live in forever. It's the first house you're buying. It might be, but you're going to have to sell it eventually. Even if it's not you, and even if it's your family, it's going to have to be sold eventually. Next up, and mistake number 4, right before we hop into the 5th mistake I see home buyers make here in Fargo, North Dakota. Number 4 is another big one, and that's looking for the perfect house. Now, obviously, everybody wants to have the perfect home. They want to have their dream home, but it's almost impossible to find. Unless you're building, unless you find the perfect lot, the perfect neighborhood, 99% of the time, not everything's going to be perfect. So you need to look at houses that are kind of 85% of what you want in a house, and then look for houses with 15% of things that are available to change to make it your perfect home. So let's say, for example, I'm someone who's looking to buy my first house. Okay, I want to be in a neighborhood in Fargo North School District. I want to have trees in my neighborhood. I want to have an updated kitchen. I want to have 3 bedrooms on the main level, laundry on the main level. Okay, so I'm looking at houses, but I can't find anything. But then I come across this house, okay? 3 bedrooms on the main level, okay? Laundry's in the basement. Kitchen's a little bit updated, but it's not updated. It has trees. It's in Fargo North School District. So that's kind of 85% of what I'm looking for. Then I'm like, okay, I can fix this kitchen up a little bit, and I can move the laundry up to the main level. There you go. So don't look at houses that are perfect. If you don't find your perfect one, you're just automatically no. You got to look open to your options, because in an area like Fargo-Moorhead, there's a lot of houses, but there's not a ton. They're not endless, and there's not a perfect house for what you're looking for. Now, this is one that maybe I really wouldn't consider a mistake, but just something to think about, because obviously you can look at houses for as long as you want. You could look at houses for 3 years before you buy a house. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. But sometimes I just feel people get stuck in the trap of looking for the exact house they're looking for in the exact neighborhood, in the perfect house, where it ends up taking them 5 years to move. Or if you bought a house 5 years ago, get all that equity in that house, but then that perfect one pops up, you can still buy it. So it's all dependent on your situation. Obviously, some situations are different where you need to find the perfect house, but it's all dependent on your situation of what you're looking for when buying a house. So maybe I really wouldn't consider that one a mistake, but it's something to think about when you're buying a home here in Fargo, North Dakota. Now the fifth one, and this is a huge one, is if you're looking to a house with the HOA, look into the financials, look into the rules. Now there's not a ton of areas here in Fargo-Moorhead that have HOAs. A big one is with condos or with townhomes, or some houses do have HOAs, like Bluemont Lakes is a huge HOA. What are the restrictions on that? Can you have fences? Bluemont Lakes HOA, you can't have fences. Can you put your garbage cans out? Can you have outbuildings? Can you have decks? Can you have things like this in HOAs is huge to look at. But maybe more importantly than that is what the HOA financials look like. Documents like yearly budget. Documents like, is there special assessments for a new roof that's coming up? What are the HOA fees? These are huge in condo buildings. What are the HOA fees? Does it include insurance? Who includes the insurance on the interior or the exterior? Things like this are absolutely huge because especially with a lot of these HOAs that are run by people that live in the building that maybe don't know what they're doing, they may not have an HOA that is well run. And obviously you do not want to live in somewhere that a HOA is not well run because it can cause problems down the line. That's what I was talking about with headaches and all that sort of thing. Ton of problems coming with HOAs that are not properly run. So that's why it's important to know, okay, this house has an HOA, but the HOA looks really good. Good financials, good savings account. They have meeting minutes, they have meetings every week, that sort of thing. Look into that when you're buying a house in an HOA or a condo or a townhome or that sort of thing. Another thing with HOA is, if you're in an HOA, you may be up for running for president of the HOA or secretary of the HOA. If that's something you absolutely do not have any interest in doing, don't buy a condo in an HOA. Something to think about. Obviously, condos are an amazing option for people looking to get into houses that are very affordable. You can buy a condo for $100,000 here in Fargo. But you just got to consider that when you're looking into condos or HOAs. What does the financials look like? Are they strong? What is the situation with that? So that's kind of this video of 5 mistakes I see home buyers make here, specifically in Fargo, North Dakota. Obviously, it's just a little overview. If you want more information on your buying situation or you're curious about what buying a home looks like right now in this real estate market, you can reach out to me. I'm Sykora through all my information in the description below. But I appreciate you watching this video. For the rest of my life, I'll be